Revit definitely has a right way to use it, in spite of what many other people say. Here are the core principles for how to use Revit that right way. Hi, I'm Chris, the Saturday Architect, and I will help you run or contribute to a thriving architecture business. Let's go. Hey, Editor Chris here. I decided to split this video into two parts because it was getting pretty long and I know information overload is real. So, without any further ado, here's part one. Let's talk about some terms first. A project, when I say that, means a .rvt file. That means the file in which a building is made. In contrast, a family means a .rfa file. This is just an object, could be a set of objects, but it's something that is going to be loaded into your project file. .rvt files commonly are filled with many .rfa files. Revit primarily uses a single source of information. So when I say single source, what I'm talking about is a building itself. This means the building model, the combination of walls, doors, windows, floors, ceilings, roofs, all those things put together are the basis of where the drawings that you're going to use come from. This is in contrast to something like AutoCAD that uses different two-dimensional drawings distinctly from each other. At least when I used AutoCAD, which admittedly was years ago. From my experience, making different drawings in AutoCAD was a bit like drawing with pencil and paper. So let's take a floor plan. Yay, happy floor plan right here. This was something that I made with its own set of lines and hatch patterns in AutoCAD in one part of the model space, let's say. Then, to make an elevation, I would draw a completely separate set of lines and patterns. These are two different drawings. They have nothing to do with each other. If I were to cross out this window in this page, this window would still show on this page. In contrast, Revit is more like playing with Legos. So we've got things like these objects right here. I'll put the table down for now. We've got this. This is our building, our .rvt file, which admittedly is incomplete, but it's all the pieces I had to use. We've got the roof, we've got a window, and we've got these lower portions of the wall. If I take off this piece of wall right here, it doesn't matter if I look at it from the front, from the side, or from the top, it's gone. That's how Revit is. With the model, everything in the model affects all the different views, which is a great segue into what are views. Views are essentially a different way of viewing the model, hence the name. This means, like I said, one change is going to be visible in all relevant views. Now, this change of removing this wall is not going to be evident in something that maybe say a foundation plan. Just because I remove a wall above ground doesn't mean the foundation plan is going to change, because the foundation plan does not show that part of the model. Views show an aspect or a side, literally a side or front or whatever, of the model. They show a portion of the model. That is the main part of what you're going to be using for drawings is views. Now let's talk about parameters. These are a major way that Revit makes use of the I in BIM, which is information. Parameters are everywhere in Revit. You're going to use them all the time. These store information and are used to make changes throughout the lifespan of a model. Like with physical parts of the model, so moving a wall or adding or removing a door or some other object, changing a parameter in one place, such as the length of a wall, changes it everywhere in all the views and in all the information in the model. This means that parameters are very important to the information contained in the model for things like schedules and formulas. Information that might not be graphical, but still delivered another way, is still tied into the model. To be more specific, parameters can come in different forms. They can be length and width, so different measurements. They can be quantities, like how many of some object you use, particularly with the idea of arrays, which is just an organized way of copying an object. It can also be something like materials, which are not size and shape related, but do still affect the appearance of something, such as the color or the texture of an object. Also, parameters can deliver and store information that is a little bit more abstract. Things like the organization of views and sheets within your Revit file, within your .rvt file. Parameters can help with the project information that is more textual, such as the name of the client or the name of the project team members, or the different code requirements and different code citations. You can keep notes in parameters and things like that. And parameters can also be used to change graphics and limit how much you see in your views for things like view filters, which is another topic to get into because there's a lot that goes into that. Point is, parameters are very powerful. And they are something you will use all the time as you use Revit. Now, moving more toward the organization of how you are going to use Revit, there is an idea which is a hierarchy of scopes. Families have a certain hierarchy to them. It's not just one flat thing, which is a family is a family. There are different layers to them. And I don't mean to use layers as in how AutoCAD uses layers. This is an abstract idea that is independent of any particular menu. Okay, so what are these layers to a family? There is first categories and subcategories. So category is overall, how would you, well, categorize this object? Is it a piece of furniture? Or is it signage? Or is it a plumbing fixture? These are all categories. Then there are subcategories within them, which can be user created. Those are more customizable. Categories are set. There are specific categories given in Revit. You cannot make more, you cannot take away any. They're given most visibly in two menus. One is the Object Styles menu. Two is the Visibility Graphics menu. These menus both show a list of different categories. After category and subcategory, there is the family, which, yeah, I know I said families have all these things, but bear with me here. So there's family is its own layer. This means that within a category, you can have many different families. So within the doors category, you can have many different kinds of doors. You can have an entry door, you can have a sliding patio door, you can have an exit door. You get the idea. Many different kinds of doors will be used as their own family. After family, so let's do a quick review. We have category, then family. Next, we have type. Types are built into families. They are a part of families. They are a way of differentiating different distinctions in one family. So, for example, let's keep using doors. In an entry door.rfa file, you may have different sizes. Those are a great way to distinguish the door, and you can use types for that. So you're going to use parameters for the, let's say, the width and the height. Those parameters you are going to change and you are going to make distinct types for. So let's say you have a 36 inch by 80 inch entry door. That would be one type, 36 inch by 80 inch. Then you could have a larger one. You could have maybe a 40 inch by 80 inch or a 42 inch if we're going in 6-inch intervals. 42 inch by 80 inch would be a separate type from your 36 inch by 80 inch. So there you have two types within one family. Review, we have category and subcategory, then family, then type. Now we have instance as our final and lowest layer. Instance means after you have loaded your family into a project file, You are going to be able to make individual objects for, let's say again, that entry door. You can have one entry door that is 36 inch by 80 inch on one part of the building, and you can have another instance of that same type, of that same family, of that same door category on another part of the building, on another wall. So there's your hierarchy of scopes. That's a good thing to keep in mind as you use families. All right, Editor Chris here again. I hope you enjoyed part one and are looking forward to part two. In the meantime, what is your top rule for how to use Revit well? I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Until next time, take care.